The movie opens up by showing the bustle of the race arena. As mechanics, Junpei and Atsuhiro were seen preparing the engine performance that Naozumi would use in the rally race. People seemed enthusiastic to see the high-speed car led by Naozumi, the flagship racer from Spica. And as expected, Naozumi was in first place. In the same place, a girl named Endo has just switched jobs to become Naozumi's manager. Initially, she worked as a golf athlete manager. She was accepted instantly when she introduced herself to the CEO of Spica, Suzuki. She also received information that Naozumi's character was difficult to handle, but he was compatible with Endo. Behind Naozumi's success, the mechanics team led by Atsuhiro worked hard to assemble the engine in order to provide maximum speed during the race. While they were working on the machine, Endo suddenly looked for Naozumi. But instead, she met with Atsuhiro. It turns out that Naozumi left after a fight with Atsuhiro about the engine settings of his car. Naozumi has high ambitions to become a champion in the WRC, the most prestigious rally championship in the world. That night, Naozumi seemed to enjoy the luxury of a party on the cruise ship and didn't care about the hassles of his team. He is involved in a dating scandal. However, because he is a racer, his handsome face and popularity make him the target of famous brands. But Naozumi only cares about racing and his ambition to win the WRC like his rival, Akira from Sigma. The day changes. Naozumi is preparing for the biggest championship in Asia, which will feature 13 rounds with 2 rounds outside of Japan. In the temporary standings, Naozumi's speed record is ranked second, after Akira. As usual, the mechanic team tried their best to prepare the best machines for the racers. But for the fearless Naozumi, he felt that mechanical caution would slow his pace. Busy racing arena back in progress. The mechanics checked the state of the engine after the race, while Naozumi faced a crowd of reporters. When she saw Naozumi in front of the media, Endo made a fuss about the brand sponsorship that Naozumi had to wear. This made Naozumi feel annoyed with his new manager's behavior. And trouble ensues when a reporter offends Naozumi. Then, he immediately beat the reporter while another camera took a picture of him. Endo has to clean up her talent mess. In the afternoon, Endo had to invite Naozumi to a meeting with the sponsor. But again, she only met Junpei, who was designing a car. When Junpei talked about the challenges of working as a mechanic, suddenly Naozumi appeared. He just woke up from a nap then just left Endo. Apparently, Naozumi has not been able to accept Endo's existence, because for him, Endo is not interested in rallies and only focuses on advertisements and sponsors. In the midst of busyness ahead of the race, Naozumi scolds Endo. Luckily, Atsuhiro showed his concern for Endo and it made her feel better. The race began by risking a speed record that was only seconds apart. Naozumi is seen driving his car at high speed and with a high risk to beat Akira's record. And arriving at the finish line, he managed to be at the top standings. The Spica team is very happy to welcome Naozumi's new record. After the race ends, Endo meets Atsuhiro, who is designing an engine to increase the car's speed. But the project is not instant, but it still takes a long time to be used. Seeing Atsuhiro's persistence, Endo asked Atsuhiro why he wanted to become a mechanic. Then, Atsuhiro recalled memories in the past, when he and Naozumi were kids. They liked to go to the mountains together. Then, when they go home, they race by bicycle. However, Naozumi was reckless and he fell instead. As a good brother, Atsuhiro repairs his brother's broken bicycle at a race car factory. There, he began to find his purpose in life. But unfortunately, now their relationship has changed, not like it used to be. Next, rally racing uses arenas in Malaysia with steep terrain and multiple challenges than usual. Naozumi again showed his performance by maximizing his speed as much as possible. However, he entered the corner faster and then hit a rock, which cost him a lot of time. After the race, they attended a party. However, Naozumi secluded himself. Then, Endo called him to join the others. Staggering, Naozumi entered the building and met the other racers. They also got into an argument, until finally Naozumi beat the racer. After that incident, Naozumi fell asleep beside the pool and was delirious by mentioning Hina's name. Apparently, memories of Hina came back after a long time. Hina is his childhood friend as well as his first love. However, Hina actually has a crush on his brother, Atsuhiro. Then, the girl went to Boston and left the two brothers. These memories were painful enough to remember that Naozumi jumped into the pool. But it all came back vividly. When the two of them spent time on the beach, without realizing it, Hina was more looking forward to Atsuhiro's presence. Naozumi went and shouted his promise to be the fastest racer in the world. Meanwhile, Endo finds out about the figure of Hina, who turns out to be dead. And finally, the tournament was held again in a very difficult arena. The racers show their best at the steering wheel, including Naozumi. But suddenly, his movements slowed down. The mechanical team was immediately busy preparing for repairs. In that unconditioned situation, Endo took care of her golf talent at her former workplace. She went to her boss and was saddened when her boss told her to get out or not to interfere, because the talent had found a better manager. Meanwhile, Naozumi blamed the mechanics for what happened earlier. This clearly infuriated Ichiro because Naozumi had no gratitude for the mechanical team that had helped him. But still, Naozumi blames Atsuhiro and relates him to the story of their past. Atsuhiro, who has a lot of fear, can't hold Hina away until she is finally shot in Boston, while Naozumi can't do anything. The next day, Endo goes to the repair shop and sees the machine designed by Atsuhiro. The machine was successfully marketed and supported their economy. Then, he waited for Atsuhiro and they chatted together. Endo tells of her failure after being fired from the golf company and continues to be rejected by Naozumi. Later, Atsuhiro took her to a warehouse that had a lot of stalled machines due to production failures. It seems that there are many defects before it can finally be perfect and sell well in the market. This motivates Endo, who is experiencing a crisis of confidence. Even so, Atsuhiro still felt sorry that he didn't have much courage. Next, Endo goes to Naozumi to tell them their schedule. Endo says that she is almost back to being a golf player manager. But she now chooses to support Naozumi to become the fastest racer in the world. Endo's words made Naozumi softer than before. In addition, Endo learns a lot about the world of rally racing so that she is no longer belittled by Naozumi. Because of Endo's sincere support, Naozumi has become more cooperative and willing to conduct interviews with the media. When he saw the team of mechanics pushing his car, he remembered his brother's words about repairing the damage. Their past memories flashed back in Naozumi's mind. Realizing this, Endo alludes to the fact that she found out that Hina is already dead. Naozumi remembers the Christmas before Hina died. They received a letter mostly containing contempt for Atsuhiro and only one sentence for him. Back to the racing arena that is very difficult to conquer. Many racers roll over on this route. As the tournament draws to a close, Naozumi keeps on thinking about their past. He promised Hina to be the best racer in the world. And now, he had to fulfill that promise even though Hina never loved him. Though the memory was distracting him, he tried to refocus and drove the rally car at incredible speed. But in the midst of his ambition, he actually crashed until his car was badly damaged. The Spica team advised Naozumi to skip this series. But Naozumi clearly doesn't want to. Seeing the severe damage, the mechanic team did their best to repair the car. Actually, the car could still be repaired, as long as they disassembled the engine. But this could result in the Spica team being disqualified from the match. The situation is further exacerbated by these brothers' conflict, blaming each other. Naozumi wanted to ask Atsuhiro's promise to keep repairing his vehicle, but now he gave up. In the midst of bad weather, the series was really bad with many accidents, except for Akira, who managed to return to the top of the standings by only 30 seconds. After this incident, Naozumi's mood got worse, as well as Atsuhiro, who is usually always able to face problems. In the midst of anxiety that hit, Atsuhiro opened a Christmas letter from Hina. For a moment, he went to see Naozumi after he read the letter. On the beach where they spend time together, they reminisce about everything that has changed. They were talking about something sensitive, about Hina. Atsuhiro just realized that Naozumi was trying hard to win the race to keep his promise to Hina. Even though Naozumi was restricted from talking about despicable things, he continued to corner Atsuhiro, who couldn't stop the girl from leaving. But in the end, Naozumi uncovers a secret. Apparently, Naozumi felt heartbroken after despicably rejecting him, then he said that Atsuhiro liked someone else. Therefore, Hina went to Boston in order to forget about Atsuhiro. Even so, it's all happened. Naozumi keeps his promise to be the fastest racer in the world. After that, Atsuhiro kept thinking and tried to dare to do risky things so that his brother could win. He planned to install an unfinished assembly engine to push the car's power beyond measure. The assembly is very risky because it should still have to be refined again. But this time, he ignored his fears and fitted the engine to Naozumi's car. And the day of judgment has come. The audience was excited to watch the rally racing final with fierce competition between Akira and Naozumi. The mechanic team as usual continues to do its job of giving the final touches to the racing car. In this round, the Sigma team was ahead. But there is still a chance to change the final result. Naozumi put all his might into it. Until in the end, he passed the arena near the lake and suddenly there was a collision and he then entered the lake so that today's championship had to be stopped. This incident made Atsuhiro feel anxious and approached Naozumi, who looked fresh and fit. He says the car is perfect, but maybe he did something wrong. Seeing his brother's attitude, Atsuhiro wanted to fulfill his promise to repair Nozumi's vehicle. He forced a team of mechanics to lift the car and fix it right away. The mechanical team worked really hard all night to prepare for the third day, which is the day of determination. Then in the morning, they started the car engine, which was still working. Atsuhiro looked very satisfied and happy at the same time. This was also welcomed by Nozomi, who finally made peace with his brother. Before the match, Atsuhiro gave encouragement to Naozumi, who was ready to aim for first place. And finally, the Spica team showed their abilities. Behind the wheel, it was Naozumi who continued to pick up speed. After a hard struggle, Naozumi managed to surpass Akira's time record from Sigma. Everyone cheered happily with the victory of the rally racing champion. With this, he was declared qualified to join the WRC. Not only that, Nozomi finally made peace with Atsuhiro, his brother. Then the movie ends.